Shit, I didn't even do an interview. We're live. Here we are.
Hello.
We're live on JW News. Hello, everyone. I'm coming from Malmo. I have a really bad internet, I'm told, so I'm gonna keep talking and get my part out. Ruby's go, but there's a lot of news, folks. A lot of JW News since I've been gone. And we're going to try to get you to some of the headlines and show you what's happening all of. Now, Ruby, you had something interesting that was coming on some of your recaps. Do you want to talk to the audience about?
Yes. Okay. So I have been following this Warwick PIMO news, and I did my own separate video since we haven't been streaming for about 3 weeks straight. So the news is piling up. So I did a video about a previous update about Warwick PIMO. He was claiming things about the Public Information Department, trying to meet up with the journalists that were taking his story. And so they were declining to even speak on what Mauricio was talking about in the original news article. So if you want to get the in-depth information about Mauricio, you could definitely check out my video because there's another update. It's just so much happening and time is passing by so fast. And I don't feel like it is, but it just certainly is. So I'm going to present my screen here just in a second. And I'm going to show, let's see if this is, okay. So you can see these tweets from Larchwood as well. This is the source that I'm getting it from because Larchwood is in direct contact also with Mauricio, Warwick PIMO. So this is one of the updates that I covered in my own video, but I wanted to cover the new update. So let me see if I can pull that up really quickly. We can say hi to everybody in the comments. Okay. Let's see. Okay, there we go. It's on Reddit. And I know that Reddit is also another source that we're getting this information. So let's see if I can share this tab instead. Okay, update from Mauricio Fernando, aka XJW Redditor, Warwick PIMO. Okay, how does that look? I zoomed it in. Perfect. So it says, after a very intense battle with the elders of my judicial commission, where the lawyers tried to dismiss the case to avoid trial by presenting unfounded arguments in a preliminary hearing they themselves requested to try to throw out the case, the judge has decided that the case should proceed to trial. With this pronouncement order issued by the judge, all that remains is to see 3 elders in the defendant's dock. We will await the next steps. I will inform you of the trial date and any future developments. The struggle was significant, and I couldn't update you on what was happening because the organization was doing everything possible to prevent the case from going to trial. Their dream was for the case not to be pronounced. Help me celebrate this small victory for now. We will see what comes next. And then you can click on these links to see, the original the news that was covering Mauricio about him allegedly being held against his will, having to go through a whole judicial committee that he didn't want to do. They were demanding his electronic devices. And all of us have been having so many conflicting opinions, but this is what we need. We need it to go to trial. So that's what's going to be happening. I'm so excited to see what happens next.
Now, I was just following the story there, and he has a charge against Watchtower for taking his family hostage. Is that something like that? Is that correct? Or being taken hostage?
It was himself. Yeah, it was himself.
Okay. And but really, okay, so then they're putting in front of him, okay, you're going to lose your association with all your family. They threw that out in front of him as a missile. I forget how he dealt with it, but he dealt with it really smart, actually. How his lawyer handled that. Thank you, Cut News.
Right.
But anyways, that's great that you're covering up on that, and this is going to be exciting to see this
Hmm.
case come to fruition. And these cases can go to court without a buyout. When they buy out, Watchtower falls to their knees, and they're doing it, folks, every day. In Montana, they fell to their knees after all of Montana's affiliation and limine, lying in court, deceiving the court, in charged for deceiving the court, uh, paying the fines for deceiving the court. Finally, Watchtower fell to the knees, had to sign an NDA and settle it. So that's what Watchtower is doing. They crumble, they fall to their knees. You sign a non-disclosure agreement. It'll be interesting to see if Marcio, did I say that, Marcio? If he allows them to settle, or if he takes us all the way to court. You see, if he takes it all the way to court, then the whole world, it's public to the whole world.
Right. So that's what
That's
we
the
need
beauty.
to see what's going to happen. They're going to try to settle once again. They're going to try to say, all right, Mauricio, what do you want? Do you want some hush money? What can we do to like settle this out of court? They're always going to try to settle out of court. But it basically what they did was they threatened him. They took him against his will for hours on end. He allegedly they denied him a meal, and in that alleged interrogation, they blackmailed him with his family, and ultimately they did remove him from the congregation. He is disfellowshipped. He is considered an apostate for releasing the information that wasn't supposed to be released to the public. And however way you want to see it, I don't think that his actions, and this is just my opinion, it is my opinion that he is under like whistleblower laws. He was releasing information because he felt that they were misrepresenting their shunning policy in the case of Norway. So he was doing what he thought what was right by releasing that information. Jehovah's Witnesses, Watchtower and Bible Tract Society is not the government, okay? He's not releasing top
Yeah.
secret classified information that he needs to be arrested for, okay? This is a cult. And anything that you do when it comes to things that are false, when you expose the truth out of a falsehood, that is not something that you should be like punished for. You shouldn't be arrested for that. You shouldn't have consequences for telling the truth. And that's what Mauricio is saying that he did. And what these elders did was wrong because they threatened him. They took him under false pretenses because he thought and he trusted these elders that, this was just
Yeah.
going to be a regular meeting. No, it wasn't. They interrogated him for hours. They removed him from the congregation. And now his family is shunning him. And I don't think Mauricio was awake enough to know that this was going to be such a big backlash as it was. And so, unfortunately, that's what a lot of questioning, PQs, PIMOs, whatever other acronym is like. They don't think that these things are going to happen until it happens to you. I was there. Thought that my family would never treat me like that they would never shun me, that my mother would never take anybody else over her own daughter. But what did she do? She shunned and threw away her own daughter and the only grandchildren that she has over a religion that she believes is the truth. So you got to open your eyes at some point, and it's hard and it's sad, but Mauricio lost everything in one night, just like all of us.
So it's interesting. Again, I go back to Joe's show talking about how it's easy to be spellbound. Now,
Mhm.
for 30 years, I was spellbound. I would give my life up for that blood. Every year I signed the blood card. Spell that the governing body put on us. I believed the spell, all this stuff. And the spell is in the Elders book. The Elders book carries, well, it's a secret spell. No one knows about it. And we
Mhm.
all, when we were in it, we all thought, whoa, to be an elder and see the Elders book. You see, it's a spell, and it's a secret spell. They cast that spell out, and it's full of rules. It only has the word love in it, 5 times, and it has the word judicial in it 337 times. So if you haven't attended one of our Monday night shows, yeah, book reading. It's an eye opener. Now, I had some other news, Ruby. There's a lot of backed up news, but I thought I could cover it briefly here for a bit before we check out of the hotel. And
Yes.
did you want to recap everything that you're doing? Anything else to say for now?
No, yeah, I think those are the last updates that I can recap on, because the other stuff was about New Zealand, which we all already know about in the community.
Uh,
Everybody has made a video, everybody has an opinion. But at the end of the day, New Zealand did their job with that abuse inquiry, and they state the facts. Okay, this is not a bias. They did not just do the Jehovah's Witnesses, they did other religions as well, they did other organizations as well, and they grouped them and they ranked them third worst when it comes to abuse,
mhm.
coming after the Anglican Church and then the Catholic Church. And then third comes Jehovah's Witnesses. So everybody really needs to go read those documents and educate yourself on what's really going on behind closed doors in those kingdom halls. Like I say all the time, do not bring your children to a kingdom hall. You run the risk of getting into the midst of pedophiles or people who have been accused of molesting or abusing or literally anything that has to do with CSA issues. They have not been brought to the police. So how can we convict somebody who has been accused of something if it was never investigated? So you run the risk of brushing shoulders with sex offenders. And you should
Mhm.
not even leave the slightest room for that to happen when it comes to your children. So yeah, those are my opinions and my advice.
Yeah, great advice. When it comes to CSA, we're all against it. We're fighting crime, actually. We're helping to fight this crime, this horrific crime that the Watchtower has covered up for since inception, since
Right.
Russell, the Watchtower. And then there's a whole story there that Russell was in fact pedophile. He was dealing with a 14-year-old. That's what he was accused of. His wife left him. So this religion goes right back to its founder. Now I'm going to look at some of the other news here. I'm just going to pull up watching Watchtower. I don't know if anybody knows of them, but they're kind of a private group that's working to let us all what's going on with Watchtower. And the last article that I covered was right here, but Watchtower Victim Memorial Day. Can you imagine? Watchtower Victims Memorial Day. So now this is all starting all over the world. This is what country is this? Is in Nuremberg. So this is in the Scandinavian countries. So this is happening all over the world. Watchtower Victims Day. They're leaving victims, just like in New Zealand, stranded with no apology, no payout, they're not responsible. And this is going to crumble. My opinion, Watchtower will crumble. All the other religions are apologizing. Right. We could look at that. Update Jehovah's Witnesses pencil. That's over there. Still happening. And the Philadelphia, we talk about their convention there. And then we go over to Robert Ostrand, maximum 1 year. And now we have the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses, now a Buddhist hall. They're selling off these Kingdom Halls, cases. Everyone thinks that Watchtower is just smart. They own all the property now, and they're just amalgamating and doing things smart. But I don't think they realize that there's so much thing, and they're putting people together. Congregations are shrinking. They're having to rewrite their circuits every day almost because they're shrinking. In the modern countries where we Watchtower's in trouble. Watchtower's in trouble. Now, in the countries where there's no internet, Watchtower's a hero. Why? Because they build these new kingdom halls, put air conditioning in them, put Wi-Fi in them, and get all these people equipped with tablets. And if you come over to the Watchtower, we'll show you some cartoons and we'll show you some of our new songs, and it's a happening place. You see, so in those countries, those third world countries, Watchtower is growing. But when we happening with Ruby. The country that Marcio is from, Ruby, is where?
Mozambique.
Yeah, is that a first world country or third world country? Do we say that anymore? Is
Definitely
that
not
something that's
first.
said? Yeah, yeah. So in a country where maybe internet, maybe only half the people on internet, we're seeing this coming out on local news, and it's hitting
Hmm.
is being exposed by its own ex-members, slapped and abused and shunned, and a lot of us are standing up. We're just not going to allow that to happen. That's what I have.
Right.
What do you see? Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. The
Hey, I'm just going. You go ahead, talk. I'm just looking at this some more thumbnails here, but if you have something to say, go.
No, no, no. Yeah, I'm definitely agreeing with you. I think that's the privilege that we need to take advantage of as Americans or anybody in the Western Hemisphere. We need to continue exposing this so that the rest of the world is spared from the Watchtower, because that's the thing. It is an American cult slash religion. It is a Western thing, and that's why I appreciate and I respect Eastern countries, or everything that's not in the Western Hemisphere. I respect them. They have culture, they have tradition, they have thousands of years of reverence and respect for real religion, for real Christianity, and they reject cults and New Age movements, especially the ones coming from America. And I think that's why freedom of religion is sometimes a bit of a problem. In my opinion, because then you have freedom to do whatever you want. You could call yourself a pastor. You could set up a church whenever you want, and there's no like real classifications for religion in America, because we are too free, honestly. But I'm okay with that. I'm just stating the facts. I'm not like giving an opinion about that. I'm just saying the freedom that we have here also allows for these cults to exist, unfortunately, because we are so free. But I love freedom, so I will never go against American values. I love America. But it is also our job as ex-witnesses, people who have left, people who have gone through it, to let other people know in other countries, or just anybody, I don't care who it is, that yes, they are a dangerous cult and you need to look out for this and this, because you want to spare those people from destroying their lives.
Okay. Um, might be a little lag here. I was going to put up San Diego's comment. He figures Mozambique is a third country, and I guess there is a human development index. So thanks for that, San Diego. So yeah, these third world countries are speaking out. People, witnesses are speaking out. Now, this here one is another extra, New Zealand, who's speaking out, and all over the world they're saying if it's all about accountability. Now it's interesting, and I wasn't going to bring this up. I'll probably It'll be an ongoing thing. But the very first person we met at the market here, where we're moving, is an ex Jehovah's Witness. We had our first meetup, actually. And so it's interesting. We'll share more of this on Joe and Fran's show. She's going to come on. She has an interesting story. Her dad, who is an elder, abused her, a CSA case from birth. She left at 13 with his child in her, had the child, and carried on to deal with all this trauma. And through the thick of the thin of it is she's my age kind of a thing. And right now, she is a counselor. So she's dealing with counseling and she's helping people. She knows that this community exists. I think a lot of people don't have an idea this community exists. So if you're out there and you can share it, it'll help a lot of people. Part of the therapy, one of the things about therapy all over the world is talk therapy is in every type of therapy, whether it's Alcoholic Anonymous or drug addiction or whatever. We're cult survivor. So talk therapy is one of the best therapies. So for anybody out there that wants to get their story out, on Wednesday night, Joe and Fran run about 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, and anybody can come on and tell their story. It's a healing. You feel a lot better. are angry when we first start to wake up. We figure there's just no way that the Watchtower could be doing any of this. But as we get further out, we see that we were spellbound. We were under a spell. And even when we leave, we can there's parts of that spell that will linger in our minds. And so there's a lot of work. And I think all over the world, they're realizing that there's a lot of work in dealing with cult survivors. And cult survivors, there's lots of different anxieties that they have to deal with, depending on the trauma that they endured while being under the cult. Just like Ruby was talking about her trauma from a young person, to disfellowship her and not have a relationship because she's spellbound by 9 men. I was spellbound too, so we don't want to beat everyone up. It's the 9 men in New York. They're the wizards. They're the warlocks, and they throw out these spells, not biblically based, spells based on judicial meetings, not love. These are not Jesus people. Okay, well, that's why we're doing this. So this lady news, she speaks. We left that on this. Might come through too fast. That's why I'm not putting up all these thumbnails. I'm just going to knock this down and knock it back here. So, Ruby, do you have something you want to carry on, and I'll grab the next thumbnail.
Okay, yes. All right. Coming out of Twitter, I saw this tweet from this woman. Let me present my screen. And I think this is highly interesting for anybody who loves Jehovah Witness things in the media. So this tweet from, I don't know how to pronounce her name, but I'm going to try it. Sorayis Narez. Okay, I'm so sorry, Sorayis. But if you find her on Twitter, that's her handle. And I will also put a link in the description on both of our videos at the end of the stream on everything that I'm talking about so that you guys can go and click on it. So this, she says, hey, XJWs, just wanted to share that ABC, one of Spain's leading news outlets, has launched a documentary podcast series about Jehovah's Witnesses featuring ex-former members. And so the article here that she posted, I did comment and I asked her if she has a link to this article, but it is in Spanish, but it basically says the same thing. It's kind of like a podcast of the Testigos de Jehová, which is, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses in Spanish. And if you click on this link that she provides here, it'll take you to Spotify, and this is the podcast. So episode 1 is about 24 minutes. And again, it is in Spanish, but if any Spanish-speaking ex-Jehovah's Witnesses or Jehovah's Witnesses that you want to share this with, this is the podcast. I am going to also link, I'm going to link everything in the description, but I think this is amazing. It's kind of like what we're doing, but in a podcast style. I love when the media starts picking up these stories and starts telling ex-Jehovah's Witness stories and how they woke up, how they left. And it's like from credible, you know, journalists that take out the time to do this. So I'm so appreciative for this post. And yeah, just wanted to share that with everybody from Spain.
Well, thank you, Ruby. I have an article here. I'm just going to see if I can pull it up. Here we are. I'll add it to the stage. This is from Mexico, and I was going to look right at the beginning. Let's look at the thumbnail. Oops, I got to get over here. This is where it's from. Now, this is about stealing money from older people. Now, in Mexico, Jehovah's Witnesses are being examined for stealing legally. They're being looked into in the congregation. Now, apparently, in the congregation, the Jehovah's Witnesses, they're asking his grandmother for a series of donating a mandatory amount of money. And people from the congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses came to her door. Over the years, we realized that she already belonged to the group, but they have constantly been asking her for donations. So this is a thing. When we looked at the assembly this year, it was all about money. Every assembly, they spent at least 15 minutes talking about what they do and how they and making it really easy. You know, you can come up to our central station on the main concourse, and we have money there. We have many ways of getting the money out of you. Either your Visa, you can throw it on your Visa. They want you to borrow money from a high interest Visa company and give it to the Watchtower. Folks, this is all being exposed. What's going on is Watchtower is chasing older people. They signed over. They older people that the whole world's wicked, including their grandchildren and their children, because they're not Jehovah's Witnesses. So people giving all their money to Jehovah. Well, this is all coming out. This article to talk about it. He stated that this group makes people believe that God rewards faith with wealth and health. So believers demonstrate their faith by giving a certain amount of money. She, the grandmother, thinks that with this, she has won the kingdom of heaven and that she can be saved, because for her, it is the best thing she can do. And she practically she is very manipulated by those people, he said. So this is how we had other articles like this. The family's lawyer commented he currently knows of 10 cases in the same situation. And you remember, this is going on in Spain. The government in Spain, they put out an order to against these cults, and in Spain said that Jehovah's Witnesses are a sect, which is the same as a cult. And just went to try to fight it. Lost the court. So Spain, they say, no, you are a sect and a cult. And then it comes out that they have a whole police force task chasing these cults for stealing money from old people. And that's what's going on in Mexico. It's very important we talk about this, because if you're out there and you have your estate left to the Watchtower, you might want to redo that. You might want to reconsider that money is going to go to pay for crime, cover up of child sex abuse, all the elders lying in court, all these things that you guys are never told at the assembly. That's where your money is going. And the more that you leave to the Watchtower, you become guilty. You're paying for them to do it, to hide crimes. You become guilty by participation. The truth. Once you know, just like we were taught the truth, right? We thought we were taught the truth. Once you know the truth, and everything else doesn't matter. Once you know the truth about Watchtower, it doesn't matter. It's the same concept. We thought we had the truth. We learned we don't have the truth. Now we know the truth about the Watchtower. We have to make that known. This organization has taken the truth and taken the name of God and dirtied it. And the whole world dirtied it. So now they're chasing the old people, just like all the other religions are doing. And the younger people that are losing out in these estates, they're hiring lawyers. And good on them to hire lawyers, because you can. If there's a will that was made, you can challenge it. There's laws in every country. If you're a family member and the religious person was spellbound by 9 men in New York and left all their estate there because spellbound, coerced, and pestered for their money, finally they signed it over. That's happening. Elders are being trained on this. Circuit overseers are training elders how to do this. I'm going to look through the elders book Monday to find out how, if they're in the elders book to do this. Now, the problem is that religious group can enter they have to specifically give money, give goods, not a gift, not a voluntary contribution. There is excessive conditioning, he explained. He mentioned that in a specific case, it is precisely that of an 88-year-old lady who over the years has contributed more than $1 million pesos to her son, who is a scientist who makes pieces for a company that sends them to China. So here you got the worldly son helping his mom. In Mexico, things are tight and families are each other. And here this mom's sucked in by the cult. That the woman has assets, but today she no longer has them and uses her husband's pension to continue contributing to the religious group. So this is how this parasite of a religion is infiltrating itself and now getting her husband's pension. He's probably not even a JW. So that's a grandson who sees that his family member is being taken advantage of, defrauded by this type of group, cannot report it because the only one who has power is the affected person, him or herself. That's W, you see. And this is the problem. So an attempt is to talk to these people, letting them know that they do not, it is correct that they hand over all their assets because it is creating a situation of lack, but they refuse to proceed because they firmly believe that the more money they give, the kingdom for them, said the lawyer. And that's about it. That's what we were taught. Give all your money, give. Oh, back to you, Ruby.
Yeah, I mean, I could even give a little personal experience once again, just to show the reality of that happening in average Jehovah's Witness households, is because my own mother, once again, you see, this is what we got to talk about. We got to talk about how fanatical some of these Jehovah's Witnesses become, because the more spiritual you are, the more you do, the more money you send. Everything that you do with your life represents Jehovah. So she was giving money. She says, oh, Jehovah needs this money. Why does Jehovah need this money? Jehovah can perform miracles. Jehovah can resurrect the dead. Why does he need money? Okay, those are the little waking up processes that I used to get when I was a teenager. So she's sending $100 direct pay out of her bank account to Watchtower. And what I had to do, I was 18. I was like 18, 19 years old. I called the bank and I pretended to be her, and I ended those direct payments, because why is my mother, who is basically under the poverty line, she doesn't work, she's a disabled person on a fixed income, why is she spending $100 a month sending it to Watchtower? Watchtower is a $1 billion company at this point. Why do they need the money from a disabled Jehovah's Witness who can't even have a job and needs the money to sustain herself? Think about inflation. Think about all the problems that I talk about on my political show. People like my mother are not going to survive for not too long, but she's sending money to Watchtower? Wake up. I have to take this phone call. I will be right back in like 2 seconds.
Okay, it's crazy. Watchtower is desperate, and their desperation is going to bleed over into the elders, and the elders will bleed that over into the rest of the flock. And it's a desperation, and they're making a desperation because they have people wrapped up in fear and panic. They're in fear that it is coming any day now, and that all this turmoil in the system, and blah blah blah. So they get people going in fear. They've been promoting this camp, everyone going to this camp. They've been promoting that at their district assembly, and leave your assets behind. So it's going to be interesting to see how the FBI deal with this. Well, are they dealing with this? Apparently so. So the FBI, they seek information for its global investigation into the truth. And this is the truth. There's other groups that call themselves the truth. So the FBI, they want to know what the truth is. So Watchtower, so they're going after this group, the 2x2s, more coverage of the FBI investigation. So they're covering this on the Watchtower. Roll through here. So the FBI investigation is investigating Christian sects after a widespread allegation of CSA. So we did a video a few weeks ago about the FBI to get involved, because there's nothing we can do as a common person. And the FBI has to go into the headquarters, and they're already doing this. We don't have to tell them what to do. They know more about in this sect than we know, because they can get information that we can't even see or get near. So they're investigating right now these Christians, widespread allegation of CSA. So who's on the news? Jehovah's Witnesses. They are looked at, and this is what I said through the trip here. I talked to one of the CART witnessers just the other day here, and we talked about that. And he says, well, they're minimizing it. Well, it's a problem everywhere. That's what the brother, the elder, who's been 51 years in their religion, JW, he says, it's all over the place. CSA's all over the place. And let me tell you, I dealt with a pedophile. I dealt with him. And this is how these elders, they're just spellbound. Their eyes are glossy. They don't see that the governing body is guilty. They don't see it. So the FBI, they see it, and they're not spellbound by this group, and they're investigating this group. That's gaslighting, and the guilt is what has created such a perfect breeding ground for the pedophilia that goes on to what they're getting back. So it's in other religions. For New Zealand Royal Commission of it. Everyone's looking at it worldwide. They're in trouble. The Jehovah's Witness religion.
Okay, I'm back.
Now, I was just going to get on to another article, but if you had something you can run with, I'll just open up my next article.
Okay,
I was looking at the FBI and
Whoa. Okay. So yeah, let me just finish my little rant that I was having a little earlier about the money situation, the financials. So I ended that direct payment that was coming out of my mother's account, right? And I'm sure she probably was like, wow, I have extra money every single month because the Watchtower is not taking your money. So that was the very first awakenings for me, right? And then, you know what happened? And I think I've said this before, but every single time we talk about money, I'm going to bring up these experiences because people need to know. She put me on her life insurance and she said, Ruby, if anything happens to me, I'm her only daughter. If anything does happen to her, who you going to call? You're going to call me, your apostate daughter, right? So she said, Ruby, if anything happens to me, I'm going to put you on my life insurance. And I said, great, send me over the stuff, right? So she sends me an email of the whole documentation. She put next of kin, Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. And then she put me under. Yes. She put next of kin, Watchtower, right? The whole thing, Bible Tract Society, the address, literally everything, that the society would take the money if she were to pass away unexpectedly. And then she puts me as secondary next of kin. At the bottom of the line there's like 3 extra people that you could put on there. And I called her and I said, why is Watchtower your next of kin? If you die, are they going to call Watchtower to bury you, to take care of you, to do medical decisions for you? No, they're not. They're going to call me. I should be the very first person and your emergency contact. I said, you need to delete Watchtower. You need to put my name next of kin. And then the other people that you put on the bottom, you should put your 3 grandchildren. You got 3 lines right there for your 3 grandchildren and you have it blank. Why is it blank? Stop acting like you don't have family or people who care about you, because even though you don't talk to me, doesn't mean that I stopped caring about you. You're the only mother I got. I'm the only daughter you got. Stop putting this damn religion into your private affairs, because ain't nobody gonna be there when you die or when you need to make plans for your funeral or who's gonna take your items. It's gonna be me, right? So then she comes back and she tells me, and this is all through email because she started shunning me like a year ago. So this was all through email. but I'm giving you the emotion, I'm giving you the passion of how I really feel, right?
Mhm.
Because this is it's upsetting. And just like you talked about in that video, they take advantage of people who are indoctrinated when it comes to every aspect of their life. And as an only child, I feel like, yes, that is my inheritance. That is my birthright. These are things that I owe to me, because who was there with you when you were sick, when you had to get surgeries? Who was there? Me, taking care of you. So so that's the emotion. Okay, back to the story. So she sends me another email and she says, "Don't tell me who I could put on my life insurance. That's my business." I said, "Okay, fine. That's your business. So don't call me when something bad happens to you. Call Watchtower. I want to see the governing body
Yeah.
helping you. Call the hospital liaison when something happens, right?" And then she goes, I'll put the kids, because if something were to happen to you, then if the kids turn 18, that the kids could get the money. I said, fine, do whatever you want. I really don't care at this point. Then the next email, she tells me, "Oh, I know you've been going to this Orthodox church because I put pictures on Instagram." And she said, "You know that that's false religion. You know that that's wrong." And I said, "No, it's not. That's your opinion. And I got freedom of religion. I could go to whatever church I want to. I don't need permission from you or nobody to go to any church." So she says, "You know what? Go to your church, give your money to false religion, and I'm going to take you off my insurance policy just because I was going to this Orthodox church." And I said, "Really?
Mhm.
Going to a church that you don't approve of? You know what? I am going to give my money to this church if I want to give my money, right? Because you just told me not to tell you about your financial business. That is not my business, right? So you know what? Don't tell me where I can spend my money. How many years have you been sending $100 to Watchtower, and you're going to have a problem when I give money to this church that gives me a community, that gives my kids friends, that people who talk to me no matter what, no matter if I'm a Jehovah's Witness or not, that they don't care about those things? We care about Jesus Christ. We all come here for one reason. So don't tell me which organization or which religion I should be giving my money to." And so that was the last time she spoke to me, before all that drama that I had on my channel. But she took me off the insurance, and she told me to delete all the paperwork, get rid of it, because if something happens to me, it's just going to go straight to Watchtower, because Watchtower is next of kin, not your only daughter. So don't call me when something bad happens. I'm not taking a flight. I'm not going to New York. I'm not doing nothing, because the next of kin is Watchtower.
Good for you. Good for you. I think everyone has to follow Ruby's example. We have to be straight with our relatives. And if you're in a situation like Ruby's in, be straight with them. If they're making Watchtower next to kin and they phone you for help, hang the damn phone up. Tell them phone Watchtower. Don't effing phone me, and
Yeah.
take yourself off. We're no longer, we fellowship them because they're cult followers. They're spellbound. Their eyes are glossy. They give everything. This cult is going down, and it's bad. And they're grabbing for people's money. Now I want to show you a comment. I went back. Ricky, Bobby, Eric. Thanks, by the way. Um, did you hear of this sect formed this year? They're called the Christian Servants of Jehovah, and it's
Yeah, I
ex
think I saw
Jehovah's
that.
Witnesses. And did you hear about that
Yeah.
one?
I think I
It-
did. They put like a picture on Twitter, I think it was, and it was so like copy and paste Watchtower propaganda. They had like this picture of paradise and a picture of Jesus, but no beard, the old Jesus, the old Watchtower Jesus. And
really?
he's putting his hand out like this, like, if you want to come to paradise with me. And I was like, oh, I was gagging. It was so cringy. And it was just that those are the people that Watchtower needs to go after for copyright infringement, because they're copying off of your propaganda, your literature, and then they're forming their own ideas, and then they're claiming to be like, "Oh, we are reformed Jehovah's Witnesses."
Yeah.
This is the
I got my first
Reformation.
copyright the other day on some old video I did, and it had a bit of a song of theirs in it. And I got it. You know how YouTube, the little robots are always going in and out checking. Well, they put up this copyright on this one movie, and the clip was this little bit of singing by Jehovah's Witnesses. So they're now going after, I guess, their Jehovah's Witnesses are getting out there and watching for copyrights. And we might get a bit more of this on their music. We might not be able to show a lot of their stuff. And to be quite honest, their music, all of their stuff is bound. It's witchery. If you want to be involved in witchery, demonic things, cult, follow the 9 men at New York. It's my advice.
Mm-hmm.
My advice is don't do that because it could cost you your life. And we have to do, if we're involved, we have to do just like what all of us XJWs, what Ruby's doing. What's Gabby's saying something here that her dad supported pioneers to the tune of $500,000, and that's going
Wow.
on all the time. Stuff like that, $500,000 to support that, right? Wow, that's all you can say. So they're going after money. Sherry calls them puppet masters. That's who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're puppet
Mm-hmm.
masters. And Tad says, you're a powerful leader, Ruby. You're a powerful leader to a new era. I agree. Good comment, Tad. And it's the younger people. The Bible even says that through the mouths of babes, Jehovah will speak. So when I see that
Mm-hmm.
happening, I see San Diego on there doing things, a lot of young people speaking out, making a stand. Yourself, Ruby, you're doing just such a great job. But it's through the mouth of the babes. And Jesus even gave reference to young people. He said to the disciples, you guys, what are you fighting about? You're fighting about trying to see who's greater? Look at the kids and be like the kids. So the kids, we be like younger people. We become more playful in our minds. We laugh a little bit more. And it's a different mentality. And I think that's really what the Bible teaches. I don't know what you think about that, but you're a powerful leader for a new era. Yes, through the mouth of babes, Jehovah will speak. That's what the Bible
Right.
says. Dinah says, what funny is when Jehovah's Witnesses need help, they reach out to unbelievers for help. They do. They go to the food bank and
Mm-hmm.
even at the headquarters. And how did we miss that disconnect? Like, how did we miss it? I missed it for 30 years. So that's why I don't blame anybody. When you're spellbound, you're spellbound. You're under the control of that organization. It's such a feeling of liberation to remove the spell, to remove it and just walk away and look there and say, holy smokes, I didn't realize something like that all those years. And I think that's how a lot of us are feeling at this point. Time, money, family, friends, gave it all. That's what Dinah said. And that's what we've all done. We've give it all. You get to the end of your life. Luckily, Dinah's still younger. Now, I wanted to mention to Dinah, we did talk to a musician on this trip here just yesterday. I videotaped it all. And he's willing to come on to the XJW live for a whole afternoon off a mountain and play to you guys as the audience. And he's willing to entertain, and this is something that we're going to work with this guy on. He's willing to entertain playing some of our poems and our lyrics and maybe putting a song to it. So I'll be sharing more of that on Joe and Fran's show.
Awesome. I love that. I love when new people come forward and they're brave enough to share their stories. It is validating for them because I know as much as we appreciate it, it's more for the person. That because I know like in the back of my head, I guess I have like a higher EQ than I think I do because I feel like I could see through them and how they're feeling and their like emotions and stuff like that. Um, the heck? Oh, sorry, I got an alarm here.
Okay, no
But
worries.
but
I
yeah,
thought you had
I feel like no, it was an alarm. But yeah, like I feel like emotionally it's healing for the person. Like I love when people tell me like what they believe in or like they give me their testimony of anything, how they came out of something, how they got into something that helped them. And then you have the opportunity to say, I totally get you because this is what I went through. That's the healing process. Like you said, the talk therapy, that is watching other human beings progress in their own life. We're not stuck anymore and we're not quiet anymore because when I was a witness, I was like on silent mode. I didn't speak. I didn't grow in that way. My social skills were horrible. Like I was being forced to have this JW happy face. I don't know if you saw that meme, but next time I'll bring it on stream. But it was like as soon as they walk into the Kingdom Hall, the picture is showing them that they take a fake like metal thing and they put it in their mouths like the Joker, and they're forcing themselves to smile, and all of their faces are like this. And that's exactly how I felt. Like as soon as you walk into those doors, my
Mhm.
mother would say, "Change your face." And I'm like, why do
Really?
I gotta change my face? Yeah. So I think I had an attitude problem. I think I had like how my personality is on here. It can like spill in real life. And my mother really wanted to tame that. She wanted to get rid of that attitude, that opinion, that that feistiness, that fire that I have in me sometimes, because I could really tell somebody off in real life. You know what I mean? So that was the thing. She was like, as soon as you walk in here, you're gonna change your face and you're gonna hug and say hi to every single person at this Kingdom Hall. And that was over 100 people at the time. Like I tell you, this is why I
Mhm.
speak up, is because that's how fanatical my mother was. So that's why I'm like 10 times harder against it, because I was a child.
Mhm.
I couldn't decide for myself. I couldn't say no, because then you run the risk of getting a punishment for not being a good Jehovah's Witness. So I was a yes man. Yes, 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 sure, sure. And then I would have moments that I would break and I would tell a little girl off and I would hurt her feelings. And it's like, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be like the mean girl. I don't want to be horrible to other people. But so what is wrong in me that I'm spewing all of this negative energy? As a Jehovah's Witness, you shouldn't feel like that. You shouldn't be like that, right? Because you will have Jehovah's Holy Spirit. That hatred wouldn't be coming out. So why
Mhm.
is it that you have depression, anxiety? Why is it that you don't want to be here and you're being forced to be here and to uniform yourself and to mold yourself into what they want you to do, not who I am, not who I
Mhm.
was? The suppression. No. So that was what my mother couldn't control. And she still can't. So even as an adult, she still doesn't respect me as an adult to have these conversations. So she just shuns me completely. She disapproves of my parenting. She disapproves of my freedom. She disapproves of my beliefs and my religion, because everything is wrong, because it's not the way she said, it's not the way Jehovah said. And I told her, no, that's what the governing body said, and you
Mhm.
went along with it. I reject them and I'm going to do my own thing. And if you can't respect that, then you may go. You may go. But I'm going to go my own way. And that's the conviction that I want to bring to this community. That's the freedom. That's the red pill. Live your life the way you want. Don't be quiet about it. You tell them
Mhm.
why they are false, because there are
Yeah.
false prophets and they will go to hell because they are misleading vulnerable souls down to hell with them. Reject
Mhm.
them, expose the truth, and save people's lives. Because you know what? Even if they are not Christian anymore, like I don't care. As long as you're not a Jehovah's Witness, as long as you are not in a cult, that's all I care about. Free yourself.
Now that's an excellent disposition attitude to have. We have to be really solid in our convictions when we're talking to family members, and it's tough because that's how they're gonna. They've already got a commission within internally to go to family members and to try to get them spellbound. So anytime we're with a Jehovah's Witness, they start, they say, "Oh, do you know all the changes we've made? We've made so many. Oh, you're going to like what you hear." Well, we already know about that. That's what I told the old elder. We already know about all this. We're reading your 2024 elders book online. I told him. I said, that's what we do as apostates. I don't know why you're even talking to me. I'm right up front with these guys. But anyways, Beverly says she enjoys the call. I'm with you, Beverly. That's what we have to say. We have to be blunt. Now, I have another news article here. I was just going to pull it on the stage here. This is what's going on around the world, and I covered this on some news a while ago. In Zurich, Germany, the university, there's a whole pile of money going to studying Jehovah's Witnesses all over the world. These studies are coming out, university studies worldwide. research study is looking for former members of any cult. So if you want to get involved, folks, if you're out there, you're watching this, and you want to get involved, you can anywhere in the world. This I'm just going to slip through this article. Let me see if I can. What does it say here? Worldwide, former members of any cultic group. Version 1 for former members of cults. Version 2 for former members of other groups will be in the next post. And after a long time in making, the research is finally ready to launch. And the University of Salford is asking for our. We're the former members, all of us in this community, everyone online. If you were a JW and you're not now, you're a former member, you could get involved in this worldwide research. And just like Ruby's saying, we have to get involved. We have to use our voices. And maybe you're shy, maybe you don't want to do it, or let the apostates do it. They're online. We do all the work, folks. We can only bring certain stuff to you guys, but here's a study you can do. No one has to know about it. They need our help. You're a specialty. You're a very special person. You're a former member of a cult. You got yourself out. So what are they asking for? They want to get this research going. The Jehovah's Witnesses are really being studied. They're being looked at all over the world. So there's a survey. I'll try to get a link for this when I get offline here. Put some links for this. But this one, I think I should try to get this into the program. But if you're online, I'll leave it there. And you want to do this, let me see. I don't know if I can record this link. I think I can. No, I can't. So, but this is a link. If you're online, just write it down. It's app online surveys. So there it is. App online surveys. You can just type that in. I think I'm gonna become a survey. I'm gonna get involved on this. I think we have to, folks. And I'll share anything I can with you guys once I get involved. I don't know if it's all confidential. I'll let you know. But that's all I wanted to say there. The world wants to know about us. They want to know about wellness, how we're dealing with things. They want to know. They're investigating the psychological and health and well-being of current and former members of these groups. A quantitative study. And please complete and sign this after you have read and understood the study. So we go on. The survey complete. Thank you. Your answers have been sent. So this is really easy, folks. If you like online stuff, you're on YouTube right now. You just get involved. This is an online thing. You're an ex-JW. This is rare. There's not a lot of us that are getting these messages. Ex-JWs tend to hide. We're private, so we hide a bit, and we don't. We're shunned. We don't want to be apostates and all of this stuff. It's the design of that religion, that cult, and that's how they've made it so that no one wants to speak out. So that's what we have to do. We have to get involved. It's that easy. We can do it online. Back at you, Ruby.
No, I mean, I totally agree with you and everybody in the comments. I think that's why all of us matter. Our stories matter. Everything that you've been through matters because it proves everything that we talk about on the internet. And then Watchtower cannot say, oh, well, that person's lying. That didn't happen. You can't really disprove something that somebody went through because they lived through it. You can't say, oh, well, you're lying. No, this person went through it. And if you have the receipts, even better. Prove it. Just like how I brought the receipts when my uncle had to register as a sex offender. Awesome. I have the receipts. Yes, he's a Jehovah's Witness. He's a sex offender. He got reinstated. He can go to parties. He can go and do whatever he wants to do. But I'm the bad guy because I'm on YouTube talking bad about the religion, causing divisions. No, you were exposing the truth. It can and do it. Yeah, like you said, do the survey. Sign up for this. If you know what, that website, if you can't copy and paste it, manually type it in. So if you get that website again, write it down and then manually type it in and do that. Yes, do it. Give them the data. Give them the data. That's the proof that you need. The more people they have, the more charts and graphs they can put up and say, this is the amount of people who have claimed that this happened to them. The more, the better, because it will show how the beginning of Watchtower from the 1800s all the way 100 to 200, 300 years later, however long they exist, this is what happened when people left. This is how they are while they are in the organization. And we are the product of the generation that accepted the cults. They accepted the lies. They wanted their eyes blinded and their ears closed, and they want to live in a fake utopia and not in the real world. That's why they don't participate into politics. They don't want real change. They want God to do everything for them, and they don't really have to lift a finger. No, God will make changes, but we have to do it while we are here and alive and young. we need to be the change that we want to see. You can't just leave everything up to God. So, yes, we are the generation that rejected that. And this is the first time in the history of like the internet that people can actually gauge the amount of people that are leaving and saying, wow, you grew up like this. Tell us, how did you exit? How did you survive? Yesterday I went to the homeschooling co-op that I talked about on Joe and Fran's show, and I was telling one of the moms what you've been telling us. At least 10% of us have committed suicide. There's no data when you commit suicide. We don't know your story because you ended it. And unfortunately, we will never know what happened to them. We will never know what they've been through. We will never know these things because they didn't leave anything behind. No proof, nothing to say, this is why this person did this, like, definitively. We can't say that. All we know is that at least 10%, and I love when you bring up the stats, at least 10% of us end it all. And we will never know their stories or their names or what they've been through. So I reject that. I said, I'm not going to kill myself. I thought about it for a really long time. I said, I should just end it. I should just get rid of this. I should just let these people think they won and just like get rid of it so that I don't have that pressure, this problem on me anymore. And then a few years later, I said, what the hell am I thinking? I'm never going to let them have a win. I'm never going to let these Jehovah's Witnesses think that they won. No, I'm going to do the opposite. And so that suicidal low gave me the motivation to change my life. And I said, I will never, God forbid, never think about ending my life ever again. I am going to put myself on the internet. I'm going to tell my story as many times as I need to. I'm going to make YouTube videos. I'm going to tell these people who they are to their face, because you can't kill me. And I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not bought and paid for. I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm not asking nobody for money. I'm not doing this for any agenda. There is no agenda. The agenda is the truth. And you can't kill us. You can't get rid of us. And they hate it. No. So use your life to be the proof, be the stats, do the survey, make a video, make a blog, make a post, share your story, and don't ever take yourself off the face of this earth if it's not for natural causes, because you matter and it's important.
Well, thanks, Ruby. That was great. Well said. So, and we have to have that conviction. It's important that we have passion. There's no use being. We always used to use the lukewarm thing, but it does fit here. Now, I was going to say that just a few other things. I'm going to have to leave early, but what's happening? 18 Jehovah's Witnesses are detained in this country. I don't know how you say it. Pakistan. Kyrgyzstan
Like
for
that.
illegal. They call it for illegal preaching, right? Right. That's the Russian, some of the Russian communities. So they called it illegal preaching, and so these guys are detained for illegal preaching, Batin religion for illegal preaching. So they're all detained in Russia. They're shutting it down. They realize that this is a cult. And they're for extremism and illegal migration. So this is a thing worldwide. Russia's just kind of ahead of the game on it, realizing that it's a destructive cult because people are willing to be spellbound and take their lives with the blood thing. They're willing to die for 9 men in New York. It's nothing to do with Jesus. And so this is what we have. We see this happening in the news. Now let me try to get off the screen there. Okay. Well, I'm gonna sign off here today. Thanks everyone for being with us with the news. We'll get back to a more regular program. Our summer holidays are coming to a close, so we should get back to our normal program. So thanks again. We'll see you later. Ruby's going to stay on. She has more to cover. I have to check out of the hotel.
Well, actually, I think I'm gonna end it here as well because I did cover a lot.
You did. Okay, well, great. I think we did good. We got a lot of the news out, or some of the news out. So we have a little news trigger at the end. There it is, the news outro. So everyone, thanks for being with us. Ruby for hooking up on the next video.